Okay, so our article begins by talking about the situation that will happen to a lot of people in March around this time of year. Hundreds of millions of people lose an hour of sleep every March. That's horrible, losing an hour of sleep. That's the worst.
The hour doesn't just get up and walk away, of course. It goes away because of daylight savings, or DST.
Okay, so that's what we've been talking about, and that's what we mean in our introduction with the change from 7 hours to 8 in the US, or 8 back to 7, and so on. And we see from the article that in the US, this happens late at night on the second Sunday in March. Okay, so it's going to be around the sort of anywhere from maybe the 10th to around the sort of 14th, something like that. Somewhere in there. Now, I had to look this up, but in the UK, we don't change on the same day. We change on the last Sunday in March. So you guys will change, but the change to DST...
About 2 weeks, and then the UK changes.
Yeah, we will change to DST at the end of March. It doesn't happen for us just yet, but it will happen.
Right. On this day, whether it's the second Sunday or the last Sunday, the official time changes from 1:59 a.m. to 3 a.m., while most Americans are asleep.
Okay, so that all of that time, the hour between 2 and 3 o'clock just kind of gets vanished.
Yeah, doesn't happen.
So, as a result of that, we see from the article that when they, that's the Americans, wake up, their day has skipped ahead an hour. Let's take a look at this word skip. If you skip something, you miss it out as you jump ahead, like skipping a page when you're reading a book. Or if you're playing a game, you might accidentally skip someone's turn, so they don't get a go. So skipping an hour ahead means you just jump over that little hour, that 2 to 3, and suddenly you normally wake up at 8. That day you'll wake up, oh, it's 9.
Right. In November, the clocks switch back, and everyone's night is extended by an hour.
So an hour extra sleep.
Right, that's when it changes back. That word switch is a verb, and it means to change from one thing to another. An example might be, recently I've switched from reading books to reading on my phone. So it means a change from one thing, reading books, to another thing, which is reading on your phone.
Okay, and again, for people in the UK, we don't change on the second Sunday, we change on the last Sunday of October, which can often happen exactly on Halloween, which is pretty cool because Halloween will last for an extra hour. Super crazy if that's the Saturday night.
That's cool.
Okay, let's take a look at the word extend. So there we saw that verb extend, to extend something. And this means to make something longer. We could also use it to mean slightly larger, but length is the key dimension we're looking at here. So to extend an MRT line, you build an extra station or two and then make the track a bit longer. To extend your working hours, you stay at work for an extra hour or two. Here's another example. The couple want to extend their house by adding an extra room on one side. Okay, so that is basically the idea of DST. The time will change twice in the year.
Right.
Now, a good way to remember this, there's a little kind of saying that people remember, spring forward, fall back. So in spring, the clocks go forward. In fall, the clocks go back. So that's how you know, basically. But that tells us what it is. But what we don't know yet is why.
Right. And the article tells us why. It says, the idea of adjusting the clocks is to save energy. That word adjust is a verb that means to change the way something is. And we use this word about machines a lot. I can adjust the temperature on an air conditioner, for instance. Or in this case, adjust the time on a clock. So we're going to change the time on the clocks to, it says, save energy.
Yeah. Now, in the old days, people would have to do this on their clocks. I remember when I was a kid, we would get those clocks, all those clocks, either last thing Saturday night or first thing Sunday morning, and adjust them by an hour. All your clocks on your computers, your phones, will do it automatically these days, so it makes it easy. Okay, so the reason for this, as the article says, is people will use less electric light if they come home when the sun is still up. And it's also nicer, to be honest, to leave work and the sun still to be up.
Dark.
It's not dark, okay? So, if it's light outside, you won't be using your electric lights so much. The adjective electric describes something that uses or is caused by electricity. So think of Taiwan's Gogoro electric scooters.
Right.
Okay, they don't use gas, they use electricity, so they are electric scooters. Electric lights use electricity, as do electric cookers, electric toothbrushes, and so on.
Right.
Here's another example. Electric cars are better for the environment than those that run on gas.
Right. Some studies have shown, though, that daylight savings may actually increase energy use because people are using their air conditioning more. Now, maybe this wasn't a problem when daylight savings first started.
That's true.
Maybe it's not a problem in some farther northern cities.
Yes, it's not a problem so much in the UK. We don't have air conditioners in most houses, so it wouldn't really change.
Some parts of the US in the north where the same.
It's
there might
cold
not be
enough.
an air conditioner.
Right. Okay, well, let's take a look at a couple of those words.
That word increase that we just used is a verb, and it means to make larger or greater. For instance, when we make something louder, like turning up the volume on our phone or TV, we can say we increase the volume. An example might be, Terry put his foot on the gas pedal and increased his speed when he got on the highway. So we can say this about cars too. We can say you increase speed by going faster.
So yeah, we're talking about actually increasing the power use, the electric use. People that maybe don't turn some of their lights on, but because the sun's still up and it's hot,
it's still warm,
they'll turn their air conditioning on. Okay, so air conditioning, this is the system in which a machine will cool the air in a room, and it will also often make it less humid. So the machine we would call an air conditioner with an ER at the end, CONDITIONER, but the whole system is the air conditioning, and this will often involve several machines, maybe for an entire building like an office or something like that. Now sometimes air conditioning machines or air conditioners, they'll use just fans to blow the air. At other times they'll use the electricity and these special liquids to cool the air. The idea is they suck the warm air in, cool it down, and send it out again cold. And often in doing so, they take the liquid, the water out of the air, so it doesn't seem so humid. Here's an example sentence. The air conditioning in our office has 2 settings, too cold and not cold enough, which I've found in a lot of offices I've worked in over the years. Okay, so there we go. That's one reason then, making people use less electricity, but maybe this doesn't work as well as it used to.
Right. Policies about daylight savings can sometimes make people's heads spin because they're different in every country.
Oh, yeah.
Right, it's hard to figure out, like we said,
US,
and UK, it's different.
What time, what's the difference? And that would be a problem if you were well, it's not such a problem on a Sunday.
For about 2 weeks it's a problem.
Yeah, you come in on the Monday morning and you go, oh right, it's for them, they're not in the office yet.
Right, because the US has changed before the UK has.
Exactly.
And that word policy is a noun that means a rule or decision made by a government or some big organization that makes rules. Schools can have policies too. When we talk about people in government, like mayors or presidents, we can talk about their policies, meaning the things that they use their power to do or want to use their power to do. An example might be, company policy is that all employees must arrive before 10 a.m.
Okay, and we saw that these different policies, the different dates when they go and why they do it, or if they do it at all, that will make people's heads spin. And the phrase make someone's head spin is today's shortcut for you. So let's watch a short video to find out what this phrase means. Hopefully, it won't make your head spin.